Hey y'all, Logan here. Today in this video we're going to be talking about morel mushrooms and mushroom hunting in general. Now a lot of things are happening this time of the year, in the spring. We got antlers that are on the ground, we got mushrooms popping up, fish are biting, and spring turkey season is right around the corner. This is my favorite time of the year to be out because there's so much stuff you can do and you can capitalize on your time out in the woods. Now, you're going to have to excuse my voice right here. My allergies for the spring have hit me pretty hard, but I love to be out this time of the year, so you got to kind of do what you got to do. I'm in a spot that I have mushroom hunted for years, all right, since I was a kid, and my dad before that, and even my grandpa. What I'm going to show you is kind of the basics of the morel mushroom. We're going to talk, basically, it's going to be normal talk so you can kind of understand it, and I'm going to talk about how we preserve our mushroom hunting grounds, all right, because if you find a morel spot, mark it on the map, mark it on your GPS, because you can go back to that spot the next year or the following year, year after year after year, because it is a living organism under the earth, in the dirt, all right, and it'll pop up, all right. So as long as you don't over harvest and the environment doesn't change, like they go through and log, or you lose your underbrush or something like that, those are all factors that can lead to your mushroom spot to go dry. But a lot of it comes down to you as the hunter, the mushroom hunter yourself. And so we'll talk about that and how we preserve our mushroom hunting spots. You got to think of it like conservation. If you knew you had only 5 deer on this property, all right, and you went in and you harvested all 5 deer, you're not leaving any seed for the next year, all right, and year after that. So you got to selectively basically harvest these mushrooms, and I'll talk about how I do that here in a second. So right now I got a mushroom right here. We're going to zoom in, we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll continue. So stay with us right here. The mycelium, which is the root of the mushroom, lives underground, all right. That is the actual living thing of the mushroom. The mushroom that pops up is just a fruit, okay. It's basically like an apple on an apple tree. The apple tree is what is living. So this root mycelium lives under the ground, okay. What happens is, how it reproduces is by spores. So the fruit will pop up, the mushroom, and then the spores will carry. Spores get airborne, and they'll carry, and it'll help spread that that root system, all right, the living system of the mushroom. All right, so right here's a morel mushroom. This one right here is classified under the yellow morel, okay? In our area, what we call them, we got 3 different types. We have the yellow one right here. We have a gray looking one. Some people call it a white one. And then we also have a black one, all right? Now, all these come up at different stages throughout the spring. The gray ones in my area will pop first, and then followed by the yellow ones. I haven't found any black ones on any of the properties that I've ever hunted, but I heard a lot of people around me finding them. Actually, here's a very good example of mycelium. All right, so here's a really good example right next to the mushroom. That little spider web looking material right there, my finger's in the way, but that is the mycelium. That is the root structure to this living organism under the dirt. All right, so when you go to pick the mushroom, you don't just want to grab it and pluck it up out of the ground, because what you're doing is, you've seen the mycelium right there, that you're basically pulling the roots up out of this mushroom. What you want to do is you want to take a blade and you want to cut the stem off just like this and keep that base with it. All right, just like that. That's all you need right there. That's going to deteriorate, and you're not pulling that mycelium up out of the ground, so you're not going to dry it out. Then I'll cover it up again so everything can stay, damp, and it can continue living. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the identification for morel mushrooms. They got kind of this honeycomb pitted cap, all right? This piece is called the cap, and this stem. Now, majority of the time, that cap is longer than the stem itself, all right? There's some of the bigger ones, that get like bigger than soda cans and stuff. Those may be a little unproportionate. Another way you can identify the morel mushroom is if you split it in half lengthwise, just like this. All right, so what we have here is we have a completely hollow mushroom. The cap itself attaches all the way to the base of the stem. Now, there are some poisonous lookalikes called the false morels, which they're not cylindrically honeycombed like this or pitted. They're kind of just kind of like almost a ball shape, you know, kind of just go everywhere. They may look similar, but when you cut them open, they're not completely hollow. All right, they have some like webbing stuff in there. It's just not completely hollow, just to make it simple. There are such thing as a half-free morel. Now this morel, the cap attaches all the way to the stem. All right, that's how to easily identify it, and you really can't go wrong. If you cut it open, it's hollow and it touches the stem. That cap goes all the way to the stem. The half-free is usually a smaller honeycomb just on top of the stem, and it's only attached at the very tippy top like an umbrella. All right, so the bottom of that pitted area will hang free. All right, so if you're new to mushroom hunting, morel mushroom hunting, stay away from those. In any doubt, throw it out. Okay, it's not worth it. But this right here is an example of a yellow full morel right here. All right, now we're going to talk about how to transport your mushrooms around the woods and out of the woods. Okay, when I grew up, everyone took bread sacks or Ziploc bags, threw them in there, sealed them up, walked around. Okay, but how these mushrooms reproduce are by spores, which can be done or cast out through air or rain or whatever. So what you want to do is you want to put them in some type of bag that is open. All right, this is an old onion bag. All right, this is what I'm going to use to put my mushrooms in, because that way air can get through there, and when I'm walking around, bouncing around, spores are dropping all over my mushroom patch. All right, and even all the way out through the woods. What you're doing, you're basically acting like Johnny Appleseed, you know, planting more mushroom seeds as you're hunting around. If you put them in an airtight zip or plastic bag, that can't happen. All right, everything stays there. So basically, you're taking that fruit out of the woods, and you're not helping out the mushroom population. Then you can just tie this around your belt loop, and you can continue looking around for morels. So just like that, open bag, and you're going to be doing your woods a favor. All right, so we found this mushroom right here. What we want to do is we want to look around the immediate area, because mushrooms kind of grow in clumps. We talked about the root system being underground. That fruit will pop up wherever sometimes, but that root system could be a huge vast area, or it could be a small contained area. All right, so if there's one mushroom popped up, you can look around, see, odds are there's more than one in that immediate area. All right, the mycelium themselves, the root system, lives in harmony with tree root systems. It feeds off the sugars that it gets from certain trees. It likes certain trees. All right, so what I look for, and it's going to be different from everybody, but what I look for are sycamore trees, either poplars, ash, and elm, or what I find the majority of my mushrooms around. Now, I'm not saying they're limited to that tree or that tree, okay, because I've found them in some random places before. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense. A lot of it has to do with the soil environment, in my opinion. So what I'll do, especially like this spot, it's an established spot that we've found throughout years of mushroom hunting, but it keeps producing because of how we manage it. So this spot, what I'll do is I'll look around this spot. I'm going to pan around for a second. We got some briars right here. All right, we got some May apples right over there. Sycamore tree up there. It's easier to identify up to the top where it gets kind of pale, smooth bark. Oh, sorry about that jumpy. Sycamore tree there. Sycamore tree over here. We got poplar behind us. All right, that little one and that big one. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm getting a mental picture of where I find mushrooms. Okay, right here, sycamores, briars, you know, May apples, poplars, stuff like that. When I'm going to look for new mushroom spots, then I look for those key indicators. All right, what you can do is you can take a picture of that area and just study it. Okay, then when you're off into a new area, you can look from afar, all right, and kind of gain some ground instead of just looking inch by inch on the ground. you can kind of, hey, that spot over there looks really good, I'm gonna go check it out. So you run over there, check it out, find a mushroom, great, then you know your method works that area. Now it's not gonna work every time because of the soil conditions, in my opinion, but that mycelium feeds off the trees, so trees are a good indicator of where you can find mushrooms. So you need to understand and learn how to identify tree bark, all right? Because I'm going to show you how many leaves are on these trees up here, all right? Not very many, all right? They're just starting to bud. So in school and everything, they teach you all about tree identification based on its leaves, which is good. But if you want to learn how to mushroom hunt and identify trees that mushrooms like, you need to identify the bark. Okay, so study that yourself, and you can find a bunch of information online how to do that. All right, so let's go for a walk in this mushroom patch and see what we can find. Now, what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to talk about as we're walking, looking for mushrooms, but, all right, I see one right there. All right, so right at the base of this tree right here, we got a mushroom. Can you see it yet? Right there she is. All right. So that's what I look for, that honeycomb top. All right, so right now that mushroom was easily spotted. I know there are mushrooms in those briars. All right, oh, there's one right there. See him? All right, back on topic. So I know there's mushrooms in those briars, okay? But what I do is I don't go in there. All right, it's a really good environment because it's basically a greenhouse effect, and those mushrooms will pop up in there. Okay, but I let those go because I want those to cast their spores and to die off. All right, that fruit to die off. That's what it's trying to do. I know I found one walking in. There it is. Okay, this mushroom right here. Do you see how it's starting to turn colors? All right, it's starting to get a dark brown, kind of, it's basically dying off. That mushroom right there, I'm gonna let go. I want it to run its course, spread its spores. There's millions of spores on one morel mushroom. There's actually one right over here too. This is a big one. Right there. All right. It's probably 3.5, 4 inches tall. Those leaves are kind of covering it up. All right, another question that I get asked is, how often do you hunt your spots? Well, right here, all right, I'll pick what I find today, and the easy ones. We'll leave some of the dead ones, leave some spores, but I will go minimum of a few days before I come back to the spot, because what that does is it gives the ones that I didn't harvest and didn't find today time to run its course. And then another one, more can pop up, and there'll be new ones that we can pick, all right? And in this spot, we get about a 2-week window when it's really good. Don't hunt them every day, because then you're gonna get the ones that you didn't find yesterday that could run its course and spread spores. Oh man. Okay, so just spotted another one. Now, what has to happen, and you'll notice that these mushrooms just pop up. It's almost like they just appear out of nowhere, because I walked through here literally 3 hours ago and I would have seen that one too. But there it is right here. See if you can find it. Right there. All right. Facebook. Facebook is an awesome tool. What has to happen, okay, so the ground temperature has to be so much, the humidity level, the rainfall, all that stuff has to be right for the fruit of the mushroom to pop, okay? So if you're unsure about when that's going to be in your area, follow or join a morel mushroom hunting group, all right? Watch your friends post. If they go mushroom hunting, if they post, hey, they're finding mushrooms, get out there and start looking for mushrooms. And I recommend, if you find some, post it, okay? Post that on Facebook, because Facebook has this awesome thing where it'll pop up memories, and I literally had a memory pop up yesterday from a year ago of me and my wife come down here and we found a mess of mushrooms. So I was like, I better get in that woods and see if we can find any. And Here we are. All right, I haven't walked off of this four-wheeler trail, and I've found probably 6, 8 mushrooms, all right? So I'm going back. I'm going to get them all. We're going to have fun out here picking these mushrooms. All right, so I hope you guys learned something from this video, or I helped you learn something, either about the mushroom itself, how to hunt them, how to find them, and how to preserve them, okay? Preserve that spots for years to come. Take someone out there in the woods with you, all right? Mushroom hunting. Oh, this is a good one. I'm going to show you. Look how hidden this one was. Boom. Right there. All right. So like I was saying, take someone out there with you. Show them the outdoors. If you're new to mushroom hunting, I hope that I showed you enough that you feel confident to get out there and try it yourself. If you know about mushroom hunting, take someone out there with you, like a kid, someone new to the outdoors, because mushroom hunting is the gateway to the outdoors, all right? Even if someone is not pro hunting, you can take them out there and you can show them how you utilize nature, and it can open the door for them to understand our ways as hunters. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow us on Facebook, all that jazz, and I'll catch you again next time on the Backwoods Institute. You found one?
Yeah.
Wow. Here, let Dad cut it off. Here, hold it up. Show the camera. Good job. Right around here. Where? Do you see one? Go over to it. Where? All right, can you pick it? Did you have fun?
See mushrooms.
We found mushrooms, didn't we? Did you have fun?
Yeah.